The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks keep on rolling tonight against Denver. They're able to prevail when it mattered most. OG Anunoby had a career 40 in the last meeting against Denver. Tonight he had 23. Josh Hart, the great hustle. Jalen Brunson, 30 and 15. Gets the roll there. And the Knicks beat Denver tonight. The final score, 122-112. The Knicks have now won 5 games in a row. Great to have you with us, Bill Pidto, along with Wally Szczerbiak. So you think this is the most significant win here in this winning streak of 5 in a row. How come?
I wouldn't say that. I just think this is another statement win. Memphis, they didn't play well. They had won 6 in a row. They came in here. They were throwing the ball all over the map. Granted, the Knicks played great defense and forced a ton of turnovers, which led to a blowout win. But today, the Nuggets showed up and they wanted to win this game. They remember getting blown out on their home floor earlier on in the season against the Knicks. Knicks are now 2-0 against the Nuggets. Not going to see them again until possibly the NBA Finals. Jamal Murray came in here ready to play. Jokic got in foul trouble, but as a team, they thought they had this game midway through the third quarter, and that's when Jalen Brunson said, "Not in my house. I'm the captain." Took over that game, pick and roll, sliced and diced the Nuggets up, and helped this team come away with another massive victory.
Brunson, 18 of his 30 in the third quarter. Jokic, who averages a triple-double tonight, only 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Picked up his second foul like 2 minutes into the game, hardly played in the first half, and never really seemed to get into things tonight. Really an off night for him, and that helped the Knicks. But Jokic was out there in the fourth quarter, and he actually got better as the game went along, but the Knicks prevailed in the final 12 minutes.
I thought he took a couple rush shots. I thought that was the biggest shot of the game. Because the right coming out of the fourth quarter, the Nuggets cut it to 2. Deuce McBride went on a 5-0 run to get that lead back to 7. And how about the shot making by OG Anunoby? Loves playing against the Nuggets. 23 points on 9 for 15, high percentage. Mikal Bridges can't leave him open. He did struggle shooting the ball a little bit in the first half, but in the second half he made 2 huge corner threes. Karl Anthony Towns, I love the game he played. He is struggling with that thumb, but he is bringing it to help his team win. He does everything, and this defensive play was just outstanding. What a block. Leads to Jalen Brunson finding Bridges in transition. The great thing that the Knicks are doing, when they get stops, they're not allowing the defense to rest. They push the ball right back down your throat. Josh Hart running in transition, getting those signature layups in transition. A big-time win for the New York Knicks against a legitimate title contender in the Nuggets.
Interesting. The Knicks outboarded by 12. That ties for the most amount of boards they've been outboarded in a single game, and yet they win anyway. There's 6 turnovers for the Knicks, second fewest in the game. So that helped mitigate.
That balances the rebounding.
And the points off turnovers, again, critical. Look at that. Knicks 23 points off of 14 Denver turnovers, so they made the most out of that. Denver only had 3 points off of turnovers. All right, Alan. Alan Hahn helped call the game tonight on the broadcast crew with Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier. Alan, what's your takeaway tonight? I know you love the fact that the Knicks were able to capitalize so much off of Denver's turnovers.
Yeah, that was a stat to watch, obviously, because Denver does, have that issue when it comes to fast break. They give up a ton of fast breaks, and when you get them turned over, you got to get down the floor. And the Knicks did that, and they continue to do that. But I love what Wally said at the very beginning, because that's exactly how I felt when I was watching that third quarter. As Jamal Murray got hot, and he started making shots. And, again, we've seen, big-time players come in this building. They start talking to the crowd. They get a little bounce to them. And Jalen Brunson's like, I don't think so. This is my house. And he had a close to that quarter that regained the lead, and the Knicks retook control of this game. He had 7 points and an assist in what I believe was like a 12-3 run to close out that quarter. And it felt like that was it for Denver. And we have seen so many times in the past, guys, where a star player or a high-level player will come in here, they get hot, they get bouncy, and they kind of take the game over. The crowd gets frustrated, and the Knicks end up losing the game. Jalen Brunson did not let that happen tonight. He made sure that he let everybody know whose court this is.
And Alan, what about the job that Towns, Precious, OG, you name it, did on Nikola Jokic to keep him in check tonight?
I mean, his numbers show you at the end that he started to try to make shots and do what it took to help his team win this game. But those 2 early fouls took him out, and then Michael Malone left him on the bench waiting for his rotation back in the second quarter with the starters rather than play him right away at the start of the second quarter. And it looked like it took him a long time to get himself loose and get into rhythm. While you could probably speak on when you're not used to spending a lot of time on the bench and then you do after your pregame warm-up, it takes a while. And it just seemed like he never really got into this game as great as he is. And then when he did try to get going, I thought Achua did a great job. Obviously, Towns loves that matchup. There were a couple of plays he made where he was giving him a look. But it was a collective, of course, with that team. And that's what Andy Greer, the assistant coach, told me at halftime. It would take a collective effort to make sure he didn't take over the game, and it worked.
Alan, you're talking about Murray. Started off that third quarter with 10 points and then got his 4th foul. So it was Jokic's foul trouble in the first half, Murray's foul trouble in the second half to really help the Knicks. But I want to ask you about the Knicks bench. Second straight game of a massive contribution. And Wally mentioned in the highlight, early fourth quarter, Precious Achua, Campaign, Deuce McBride on the court during a critical sequence when the Knicks really benefited from their contributions.
And we were talking about it just amongst ourselves when the fourth quarter started, because you knew you had to steal some minutes. Brunson gave you such a big third quarter, and he closed out that quarter strong. You had to let him get a breath and just get his energy back, and you knew around the 6-minute mark, that's when you would bring him back in to close the deal. So you had to get some minutes out of Cameron Payne. You had to get some minutes out of Deuce McBride, and they played dead even. And that's really all you could ask for. You had a 7-point lead. Don't leave the court without at least that 7-point lead. That's what they did. That's what makes the bench minutes so important, and why at this time of year you got to get something out of your bench so your starters just have enough left in the tank to make sure you win the game.
All righty, Alan, as always, we appreciate it. We will see you for our next broadcast when the Knicks host Houston on Monday night. So you get the help from the bench. And Jalen Brunson tonight, we've talked about his night, 36 minutes. Didn't have to play a zillion minutes because he's getting the support. Tom Thibodeau's getting the support off the bench. Brunson made the most of those minutes. 15 assists. His career high is 17. Had that at Denver in late November. So he got 15 assists in this one and 30 points and 18 in the third quarter.
What I loved about this game and calling it on radio was the strategy between 2 outstanding coaches. The Knicks and Jalen Brunson and Tom Thibodeau, they knew they had an advantage when they put Nikola Jokic in pick and roll. And Jalen Brunson was getting into the paint all night long. He was getting whatever he wanted. He was making plays for his teammates. A couple of these drop-off passes to Precious Achua, to Josh Hart, just incredible, beautiful dimes to his teammates. He was in aggressive mode. He knew that when he got that screen, that they were not going to be able to contain him and keep him out of the paint. And when he gets in the paint, good things happen. How about that all-star role? That's how all-stars get the bounces at their home court. MSG, what a performance by the captain. Put his team on his back for a big-time win.
Rarefied company there, that is for sure. Brunson last year, Wally, 9 games for the whole year with at least 10 assists. Tonight is his 10th game this year in double-digit assists with 15. So we've talked about how he is doing whatever the Knicks need. And one of the things that's changed with the acquisition of Karl-Anthony Towns is Brunson's became more of a distributor.
Well, also, he doesn't see as many double teams because you can't double team with Bridges out there, Anunoby shooting lights out, Towns being able to shoot the ball, and Josh Hart slashing all over the place. So you got to pick your poison if you're a team opposing teams against the Knicks. And right now, Jalen Brunson knows that. He's a smart player. He knows when to attack, and he saw a distinct advantage in the pick and roll, and he went after the Denver Nuggets in the pick and roll in that third quarter. He would not let them off the hook. He was going to take over that game, put his imprint on that game, and that's why the Knicks came away with this victory.
Knicks as a team, Wally, tonight, 33 assists. This year, they're now 19-1. 19-1 when they record at least 30 assists. Last year, for the whole season, they only had 10 games in which they recorded 30 assists. Tom Thibodeau's bunch now 32-16. His postgame reaction is next.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back. Knicks beat Denver tonight by 10. That means New York finishes the month of January 9-6. Back now from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Next up for the Knicks, LeBron James and the Lakers are in town Saturday. It's a national TV game, so you can listen on the radio broadcast on ESPN New York. Then on Monday, the Rockets are in town, and that game concludes the Knicks' 5-game homestand. Time now to listen into the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau, his post-game comments presented by Chase.
Coach, the third quarter had ebbs and flows. Denver took the lead early, but you were able to come back. How did you turn it around and just maintain the lead?
Yeah, I thought we came out and we started the quarter. We missed some shots. They got, I think they went up 8, and then we were missing some good shots. But once we got our defense going, I think that's what turned it. And our ball pressure, forcing turnovers, getting into the open floor, the play that OG made with Josh, it was a great hustle play, but that sort of got us going. And then we picked up the tempo. We were able to go off a live ball. And, I think we had 25 fast break points. And that was a turning point. So you got to win games different ways. I didn't like the rebounding in the first half, second half better. But our hustle really is what got us going. And those easy buckets, I think that got Jalen going into the open floor. OG was terrific throughout. And then I thought our bench gave us timely minutes to start the end of the third, start of the fourth. I thought Cam, Deuce, Precious was terrific with Cat in foul trouble. And we needed that. So we needed everyone and just find a way to win and keep building. And I love the unselfishness. I think 33 assists, guys making plays, Jalen, 15 assists. When you play like that, that gives your team like a really strong spirit and togetherness. And I thought we were really connected, and that's important to get those shots.
Can you talk about Purchase's defense on their, 3-time MVP? I mean, he got trouble early, but you guys, a lot of people played the defense, but
and that's a tough challenge, and not only. And what he allows us to do is we can give different looks in the pick and roll. And I thought a big key was, obviously Jokic getting in early foul trouble. And I thought OG's aggressiveness to start the game was huge for us. Like the way he attacked the basket, and that changed the way they were subbing. And, they're a terrific team. And they put a lot of pressure on you at all times, and Murray's a tough cover, but Jokic is terrific, and then Russell Westbrook is ageless. He plays hard on every possession, and puts then Porter got going a little bit in the third quarter, but they're a tough team. Their offense is phenomenal, and they hustle like crazy on defense too.
Jalen, I don't think scored in the fourth quarter, but 7 assists. Just seemed like he orchestrated everything.
Yeah, and I thought the third quarter was very aggressive, and we knew that they'd be more aggressive with trying to get the ball out of his hands. And I thought he didn't fight the game; he just hit the open man, and we got easy buckets off of that. And I thought Carl had some timely baskets for us just off hustle in the fourth quarter. And that's what you do. Whatever the game calls for, just find a way to win. And the togetherness I thought we were connected on offense and defense, and I think that's huge for us.
What does it say about your best player when it's a 110-106 ball game, and then all of a sudden he's leading you in scoring, and he just dishes out a pass to Hart. He found Bridges, and then he found Hart again. That was the ball game. Yeah,
and credit to all of them, because when the defense is aggressive, everyone has to be in sync with each other to create the advantage, and we feel we'll get an advantage anytime you put 2 onto Jalen. If everyone gets to the right spots and we get the ball out quickly, and usually the second pass will get you a wide open shot. And I thought guys were very unselfish and just making the right play. And like I always say, the game tells you what to do. So if they put 2 on 1, hit the open man, let him trust making the pass. I thought OG had a number of timely shots for us, and that's big.
Tom, it seems like whenever another team goes on a run, you guys don't really get phased. Where does that come from? Just to know that you go with.
Yeah, I think that and again, there's still it's a good win, and we don't want to get carried away with ourselves. We'll enjoy it, but there's things that we have to continue to improve upon. I think these are all good tests for us because it tells us exactly where we are and what we have to work on to get better, and not to be satisfied, and always have the belief that we could do things better. And I think this team does. And we have a committed group that's willing to sacrifice for each other and play for each other. And when that happens, the good stuff comes from that.
The improvement in defense, has that been just cohesion and communication? Is there something else? Like, what do you?
No, I just, and again, and I've said this to you guys from the start, and there's been, I don't, and I look at it pretty closely because I usually watch it a second and third time, and if I had your ability, I would just not watch it a second and third time, but and I say that, for me, it's net rating, right? And so what are we scoring and what are we giving up? That tells you really how good your team is. And then I look at, okay, if we're, seventh, I think, in points allowed, and we're fifth in points scored. So it's a positive, it's a +7 net rating, right? And then I look at what are the points we're giving up in the paint? What are we giving up in defensive transition? What's our rebounding margin? I always say defend, rebound. Our rebound margin is top 5 in the league. So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm looking at, okay, we have some challenges like every team does. So it's defensive transition, it's building your shell, it's working together, it's communicating, the willingness to make a second and third effort, challenge a shot, finish with the rebound, and the rebounding's been there all year. So I think, collapsing on the ball and then getting out, if there's no recovery after you help, then it's no help at all. So you have to do both, and I think we're getting better at it. We've been good at limiting 3-point attempts, right? Would I like the percentage to be better? Yes. I think we can do it a lot better. So, but there's a lot of good things, and it doesn't mean we have it figured out. It means we have to continue to work. There's a long way to go, and we want to be playing our best at the end.
Tom, what is it about Jalen and the way he prepares and the way he plays that allows him to be so consistent?
Yeah, and I think that's the word, his consistency, and the way he prepared. You're never surprised at the way he plays because that's really the way he prepares. And he studies. He understands what's going to happen in the game, how he's going to be defended, how our team's going to be defended, and where we can create advantages. And he's never satisfied with his performance. He always believes he could do better. And to me, when I look at him as he's obviously a great player, but he's a great leader as well. It's because of the example that he sets with his work ethic. And he's not a rah-rah, there's a million of those guys that say all the right things and do none of them. He does the right thing. And he's not afraid. He's got courage. But he also has great humility. And I think that's what lifts people up. And I think he has the ability to unite people and inspire. And I think we're a reflection of that.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Welcome back, everyone. The Knicks play the Lakers Saturday on national TV. So our next game here on MSG, the Hot Rockets in town Monday night. Knicks beat Denver tonight by 10. Josh Hart 15-5-5. Here he is after the game with Alan Hahn.
Josh, it's 5 in a row, 2 against 2 very good Western Conference teams. I asked OG this on the court. I'm just curious if you feel like, is there any kind of statement this team is making right now?
Nah, I don't think so. I think we're just playing good basketball. So we're in a good rhythm. I mean, the season is peaks and valleys. It's all about finding a rhythm, losing the rhythm, finding it again, and, just trying to maintain it. So I don't think we're making a statement. We're just getting better.
Third quarter, they had the lead. Murray was cooking. He gets into foul trouble, leaves. It looked like the captain kind of took over there to close that quarter. How important was that close?
For sure, it was huge. We didn't come out to, start the half the right way. And I think we let them get up like 8 or 9 or, if not more. So being able to end the third the way we did was huge for us. And then obviously it gave us a big, cushion. going into the fourth.
What was the key to stopping Jokic from taking over the game?
Just being aggressive, making them see bodies, closing passing lanes, doing those kind of things. So obviously he's an amazing player. The only thing you kind of do is to try to make it tough for him.
Off night for Jokic, an on night again for Jalen Brunson. 30 and 15. His postgame reaction is coming your way right after this. The Knicks beat Denver tonight by 10. Jalen Brunson, 30 and 15. Here he is now after the game with Alan.
Jalen, how important was the close to the third quarter?
Very important. They caught the lead, and it was very important for us to kind of make sure that we had our foot on the gas still, and because we knew they weren't going to quit.
In the fourth quarter, you went from scorer to playmaker. What was happening with the offense that was turning you into the playmaker?
We were just running late, and able to get out in transition after some stops, and teammates were making plays. I was able to just give them the ball.
And this is now another win against the top Western Conference team. What are you seeing from your team right now with these wins?
I mean, we're in a good spot right now, and I love the way we're playing, and it's something we've got to continue to build off.
Coach used the word in the post-game press conference, and that was humility. Do you see that from your teammates? Do you guys feel that that's the essence of this streak and the way you're playing?
Yeah, I think it's definitely part of it. I think we're understanding each other a lot more, and it's just we're clicking, and we're going to continue to click.
Jalen, what would you say the biggest difference between day one defense and defense now is more?
We've played, what's our record? 32 and 16? What is that?
48.
48 games together.
What's been the biggest reflection on the court of those 48 games defensively?
Just knowing each other, talking to each other, having better communication, making sure we're on the same page, and that just comes with time.
Knicks 408 points over the last 3 games, the most points they've ever scored in franchise history over a 3-game span. Josh Hart loves that. We'll wrap it up after this. All right, a couple of days off for the Knicks. They're going to host the Lakers on Saturday. That game is a national TV game, so you can listen on the radio on ESPN New York. Then the Rockets, second of the West, are in town Monday, and then the Knicks Tuesday at Toronto. Boston comes into town a week from Saturday. So big games ahead, and our next game here on MSG is that Rockets game. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. You can also stream on MSG Plus, now in the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free, or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.